Yeah, and it doesn't bother me. You know, people always say, oh, a couple of times a day I lay down in the gutter and go.
For decades, Red Skelton made the world laugh, but near the end of his life, he shared something far more powerful. In his final interview, the legendary entertainer spoke with an honesty that stunned fans and revealed a side of him few had ever seen. Join us as we take a closer look at Red Skelton's final interview and uncover why it left so many fans in tears. The Hidden Clown. Red Skelton stood alone under the stage lights, painted smile in place but eyes that held more than a joke. The 1981 Freddie the Freeloader's Christmas dinner special moved slowly across the screen. Small gestures, quiet pauses, and a few simple props. He did not rush. When he reached for a line and it broke into something raw, the audience heard it and kept listening. Laughter rose and fell, but sometimes it gave way to a hush that felt like respect. In those moments, the show stopped being only entertainment. It became a small, honest confession. Skelton was a man who made people laugh and a man who carried quiet pain. Over the decades, he learned to shape his life into scenes and sketches. He learned the timing of a joke, the weight of a look, and the power of silence. But behind the trained movements and perfect pratfalls was a long list of losses. Poverty as a child, a father he never knew, fights for control of his work, family heartbreaks, and health crises. Those things did not vanish when he put on makeup. Instead, they lived in the way he performed. His best work let people laugh while also feeling the deeper truth under the grin. This video will look at Red Skelton not as a collection of credits or awards, but as a human being whose story matches a larger American story. We will trace how hunger and hard work taught him to read a crowd. We will follow how radio, film, and television shaped his career and how those same stages revealed his private struggles. We will watch the rise and fall of fame, the battles with studios and taxes, and the late life turn to painting and quiet charity. We will also examine the moments he chose to show his real self on camera, when laughter and grief met and both felt true. What follows is an account of a performer and a life. It will aim to hold both the jokes and the wounds, the applause and the silences, with the same care. Next, we go back to where it all began, a small shack in Vincennes, and the first laughs that kept him alive, born into tragedy. Red Skelton's life began under hard circumstances. He was born in 1913 in Vincennes, Indiana, into a family already marked by loss. His father died before Red was born, and that absence shaped everything that followed. With one parent gone and little money, the family had to stretch every coin and accept help from neighbors when there was no other choice. From the start, Red learned that survival meant finding ways to keep going, even when there was almost nothing left to give. As a child, hunger was part of daily life. Clothes were patched and worn thin. At school, Red was often the poorest child in the room. Other kids noticed. Teachers noticed. The feeling of being judged for what his family did not have stayed with him. He went to bed hungry more than once. He watched other children have shoes, lunch, a steady house, and things his family did not always have. That lack of basic comfort left marks on him. It taught him to move quietly, to make small plans, and to find any chance to bring money home. Humor grew from that need. For Red, a joke was not only a way to get a laugh, it was a way to make people soften, to make a moment easier for himself and for those around him. When he was small, he would tell a short story on a street corner or add a funny face while he handed over a newspaper. Those little moves worked. People smiled, they bought the paper, and Red earned a few cents. Humor became a practical tool. It brought immediate return, a coin, a kind word, a moment of acceptance. It also became how he kept the shame of poverty out of the room. If he could make someone laugh, they saw him as a performer, not only a poor boy. Work started early. By age 7, Red was selling newspapers on street corners. He learned to call out headlines, to push a paper into someone's hands, and to add a quick joke or short song to make a sale. The money was small, but it mattered. It paid for food and for small needs at home. He did a dozen other jobs as well. He delivered ice, carried cigars, scrubbed laundry, and ran errands. Sometimes he walked long distances between jobs. Each job taught him a discipline: be on time, do the work, and give the customer something extra. Those lessons were simple, but they shaped how he handled a stage later on. He learned responsibility early because his family needed him to do more than a child should. Street performing became his first school of show business. The street was where he practiced timing. He learned when to speed up a line and when to slow it down. He tried different voices and accents to see which ones got the best reaction. He watched how people reacted to a face, a gesture, or a pause. This taught him to read an audience quickly. A joke that worked with one group would fail with another. That fast learning was crucial. On the street, there was no director and no second take. He had to learn what worked in the moment and then do it again and again until the laugh came. Those early years also gave him lessons about people. He watched mothers give up jewelry for bread and boys go to school without shoes. He saw pride and desperation, and he learned to feel for both. Those sights built in him a deep sense of empathy. He did not grow bitter at people who had more. Instead, he learned to notice them closely, to hear what a laugh really meant, to see when someone wanted comfort, and to adjust his performance to that need. That empathy came to shape his characters later. They were not mean or cruel. They were full of quiet kindness and small, honest faults. Pain became a kind of fuel for creativity. The shame, the hunger, and the loss did not vanish. He carried them into his work, but instead of letting them stop him, he used them to connect. His jokes were not empty. They had weight behind them. People felt that in his timing and in his face. What he had missed at home: security, a father's presence, a steady income. He poured into his work so that others could feel less alone. These were not lessons he chose. They were lessons he learned because he had to. Next, we will follow him onto the medicine show, where those lessons turned into real stagecraft and a life on the road, running with clowns. At 10 years old, Red Skelton left home and joined Doc Lewis's medicine show. He was tiny and quick and willing to do whatever the show needed. The medicine show moved from town to town, stopping where a crowd might gather. The work was not easy. Days and nights were long. He slept in barns or on wagons. He ate what the show could spare. Still, every dollar he earned was sent back to his mother. That promise to help kept him going. Life with the medicine show was a constant mix of work and training. The show sold bottles and liniments using loud talk and bright signs. Between pitches, performers filled the time. Red learned fast how to step into a space and hold attention. There were no scripts the way he would later know them. Shows were flexible and crude. If a trick failed, the show kept moving. If a gag landed, the applause came quick and raw. Those small wins taught him a basic rule of performance: do something honest and people will respond. The medicine show taught him physical skills. He learned to juggle and to handle props without looking clumsy. He practiced pratfalls and trips until they looked smooth. He worked at pantomime, using his face and hands to tell a full story without words. He picked up accents by listening and copying. He learned to change his voice for different characters. Those tools were practical and immediate. They paid off in coins and in the respect of older performers who watched him try and try again. Mistakes were also part of the training. One night, Red slipped off the stage and smashed a case of glass. The noise should have been a disaster, but the crowd laughed. That reaction changed how he looked at accidents. A mistake could become a moment of humor if you let it. From then on, he treated slips and falls as material. He learned to fall in a way that looked real but did not hurt too badly. He learned to use surprise and error to make a laugh feel earned. That lesson stayed with him his whole life. Sometimes the most human moments come from what goes wrong. The medicine show was also a place to learn about timing. Red found out that the same joke could land or fail depending on a pause or a step. He watched older comics measure their beats and watch the crowds breathe in and out. He learned how to time a glance to get a laugh and how to stretch a silence so it made people wait, then release. Those tiny changes in rhythm turned a small gag into a scene people remembered. Performing for the medicine show tightened his work habits. There was no steady pay, only quick sales and small tips. He learned to be ready at any time and to keep his energy up through long days. He learned to move quickly between acts, reset props, and keep the show flowing. That stamina served him later on radio and television, where shows were live and mistakes could not be fixed. Those years on the road also shaped how he saw people. He sold to farm families and city folks, to kids and to older women. He watched how different groups laughed at different things. He trained himself to read faces and change his act to fit the crowd. That skill made him a comedian who could cross lines of class and age. He could make a factory worker and a banker laugh on the same night because he noticed what each needed. Most of all, the medicine show gave Red the confidence he would carry forward. He left as a small boy who had learned tools and learned how to survive in performance. He left with a growing belief that making people laugh could be a way of making a life. Those tools, juggling, pantomime, timing, and a sense for the crowd, would become the foundation of his later silent work on stage and on television. After this, we follow him under the big top with the Hagenbeck-Wallace Circus and his first real taste of vaudeville life. Haunted by legacy. At 16, Red Skelton joined the Hagenbeck-Wallace Circus. For him, it was more than work. It was a way to touch the life his father had led, a life Red had only heard about in stories. The circus brought him close to the sights and sounds that had shaped his father's world. Tents, sawdust, and performers preparing in the dark. It gave Red a place where being small, quick, and ready mattered. He joined a silent vaudeville troupe called the Merry Mutes. The pay was just $5 a week. The money was little, but the lessons were large. In the Merry Mutes, Red could not speak on stage. He had to tell everything with his face, his hands, and his body. That limit forced him to sharpen skills he had already begun to learn in medicine shows. He learned to make emotion clear without a single line of dialogue. He learned how a raised eyebrow, a pause, or a quick look could make a whole scene. Working silent vaudeville also taught him to read an audience closely. In a loud tent, people at the edge responded differently from people near the ring. Red watched their eyes, their breathing, and the way they moved. He learned to change the speed of a gag, to add a small motion for one part of the crowd and a larger one for another. Those choices made performances land across the tent. They made his work reach people of different ages and backgrounds. Every show carried a private weight for Red. He was young, and he wanted a connection to the father he never met. Each time he put on makeup and stepped into a costume, he felt the pull of that empty place in his life. Performing became a way to answer questions about family, belonging, and identity. When he made a crowd laugh, he felt for a moment closer to the man his father might have been. Those circus years did more than teach him technique. They taught him the power of silence and the truth that a face can say what words cannot. That training became a key part of his future work on radio, film, and especially television. Next, we follow Red to Chicago, where his first big partnerships and betrayals shaped the path to real fame. Betrayal and breakthrough. By the early 1930s, Red Skelton's talent was beginning to attract real attention. At just 18, he partnered with Bud Jones, a fellow performer, and together they created a comedy act that combined impressions, gags, and timing honed from years on the street and in circuses. Red's impressions of movie stars like Clark Gable drew large crowds, and the act quickly became a local sensation. During the Depression, audiences craved laughter, and Red delivered it. For a time, everything seemed to be falling into place. They earned what felt like unheard-of pay, $75 a week at a time when many Americans struggled to make ends meet. But success did not last. Bud Jones betrayed Red, breaking the act apart. The professional loss was also personal. Red was crushed. He had not only lost a business partner, but he had also lost a rhythm and a support system that he had relied on. The collapse left him at a crossroads, uncertain where to turn next. It was during this low point that Edna Stillwell entered his life. She was a theater usher with a sharp mind and a keen sense of humor. Edna quickly became more than a friend. she turned into his manager, guiding him through the chaotic world of Chicago nightclubs, writing material for him, and helping him shape his act into something audiences could not ignore. Their partnership grew, and within a few years it became personal. They married in 1934. Together, they developed one of Red's early signature sketches, Guzzler's Gin, which portrayed a comically inept drunk hiding his liquor from his wife. The sketch was a hit. Chicago audiences loved it. Clubs began calling, and the act grossed $2,000 a week, an extraordinary sum for the era. Red's fame in Chicago had solidified, and he was no longer just a local performer. He was a rising star. The next step came with the radio. In 1938, Red joined the Avalon Time, a nationally broadcast show that introduced one of his most enduring characters, Clem Cadiddlehopper, a slow-talking country bumpkin type. Audiences immediately responded to Clem's innocence, wit, and understated humor. Ratings soared by 30%, demonstrating Red's ability to connect with listeners across the country. Clem was not just a character. He was the bridge that carried Red from regional success into national recognition. Merchandise followed, and the lines he spoke became catchphrases among fans. Red had reinvented himself, moving from live clubs to the airwaves, and in doing so, he established a formula for the longevity and versatility that would define his career. Through these years, Red learned the highs and lows of fame, the thrill of a packed club, the despair of betrayal, and the value of a trusted partner. He discovered that success required both talent and smart management. These lessons would shape how he navigated the larger stages of radio, film, and eventually television. Next, we follow Red as he takes over the radio waves, building a nationwide audience and facing the pressures of unprecedented fame. Collapse on air. By 1938, Red Skelton had firmly established himself on radio, a medium that allowed his talent to reach millions of Americans every week. In 1941, he began hosting The Red Skelton Show on NBC, which quickly drew around 20 million listeners. Each episode was short, just 15 minutes, but packed with multiple characters, sketches, and routines. Red did not rely on one voice or persona. He performed a wide range of characters, each with distinct voices, accents, and personalities. The work was demanding, and Red approached it with the same energy and precision he had learned on the streets and in circuses. He wrote, rehearsed, and performed with relentless dedication, often pushing himself to the limit to ensure every joke landed and every character felt real. The pace and intensity of producing live radio shows took a physical and emotional toll. In 1943, during a live broadcast, Red collapsed on air. The incident was attributed to exhaustion. It was a stark reminder that his work required not only talent, but also endurance. Despite the collapse, Red continued performing, showing remarkable resilience. That period marked a turning point in his comedy. His humor began to carry more depth. Beneath the laughter, there were traces of real-life pain, loss, and observation of human struggles. Red started infusing sketches with subtle emotion, allowing audiences to laugh while feeling a hint of the sorrow that had shaped him. During these years, Red became more than a performer. He became a master of timing, voice, and emotional resonance. He showed that comedy could entertain while also reflecting the complexities of life. The NBC show solidified his place as a national figure, but it also showed the hidden costs of fame, long hours, relentless pressure, and the personal sacrifice required to keep millions laughing. Next, we see Red step into Hollywood, where film roles and MGM would take his career to an even larger stage. Studio Showdown. Red Skelton's move into Hollywood began quietly in 1940. MGM noticed his success on the radio and brought him in for small roles. His early appearances were brief, often unnoticed, but they gave him a chance to learn the pace and demands of film. He studied sets, watched camera angles, and observed how seasoned actors delivered their lines. Each role, no matter how minor, was a step toward understanding how to translate his comic timing from radio and stage to the screen. The breakthrough came in 1943 with Whistling in Brooklyn. In this film, Red's performance, particularly a scene where he pantomimed a drunk, captured the attention of audiences and critics alike. His timing, gestures, and expressive face elevated even a modest role into a memorable performance. MGM realized they had a new star whose appeal could draw crowds. Red's success was not just about comedy, it was about presence, rhythm, and a connection with the audience that crossed beyond spoken lines. During this period, Red faced personal challenges as well. While filming Bathing Beauty in 1944, his infant son, Richard, was diagnosed with leukemia. Red kept the news private, continuing to perform while coping with immense personal grief. The experience deepened the emotional layers in his work, adding subtlety and vulnerability beneath his comedic exterior. Red's films achieved major commercial success. Fuller Brushman sold over 15 million tickets worldwide, and The Yellow Cabman earned him a Golden Globe nomination. However, his rising profile brought tension with MGM. The studio wanted control, but Red sought creative autonomy over characters, scripts, and routines. In 1951, he refused a role he found limiting, leading to a suspension. The conflict highlighted the growing importance of artists asserting creative rights, and it foreshadowed how Red would navigate television in the years ahead. After this, we follow Red as he conquers the airwaves with his own NBC radio show, reaching millions of listeners every week, America's TV King. Red Skelton's transition to television marked the beginning of a remarkable 20-year run. On September 30th, 1951, The Red Skelton Show premiered coast to coast, reaching audiences in millions of homes across America. The broadcast was live, and Red performed multiple sketches in real time, demonstrating the precision and stamina he had developed on radio and stage. Early recognition came quickly. By 1952, he had won 2 Emmy Awards, confirming his ability to dominate the new medium. One of the key reasons for the show's early success was the creation of Freddie the Freeloader, a silent, gentle hobo with a limp and a grin who captured hearts across the country. Freddie was different from other characters on TV at the time. He was funny, innocent, and deeply human, and audiences quickly embraced him. Red's career was not without personal challenges. In 1957, a scandal erupted when his wife and manager, Edna Stillwell, admitted to an affair with a producer. The news shocked fans and temporarily damaged Red's public image. He remarried quickly, and over time, the audience forgave him. Despite the personal turmoil, the show continued to thrive, reflecting Red's resilience and professionalism. By the 1960s, Red had reached peak popularity. His show regularly drew 40 to 50 million viewers weekly. Years of smoking and performing caused strain on his voice, leading him to rely more heavily on pantomime and visual comedy, which became a defining feature of his later work. In 1962, he won an Emmy for writing, signaling a shift in his material toward sharper satire and subtle social commentary. Despite strong ratings, CBS decided to cancel the show in 1969, seeking younger, edgier programming. Red moved the show to NBC for one final season, leaving the medium quietly and with dignity. His exit marked the end of an era, but also demonstrated his ability to evolve creatively while maintaining a loyal audience. Moving on, we follow Red through financial struggles, personal loss, and the surprising ways he rebuilt his life in the 1970s, fall and rebirth. After leaving television in 1971, Red Skelton faced a difficult decade. Financial troubles hit hard when the IRS demanded $1.2 million in back taxes. Red, then in his 60s, had to sell his Palm Springs estate and return to touring to pay off his debts. He performed in casinos and theaters across the country, relying on the same stamina and precision that had made him a star. During this period, he also experienced personal loss. His wife, Georgia Davis, brought him happiness, but her death from cancer in 1976 left him devastated. In the wake of grief and stress, Red turned to painting, creating art as a refuge. This new focus became more than therapy. It evolved into a meaningful second career. In the early 1980s, Red made a remarkable late career comeback. In 1981, he nearly died after collapsing backstage in Las Vegas following a relapse into drinking. His resilience brought him back to the spotlight with HBO's Freddie the Freeloader's Christmas Dinner. The special was intimate, emotional, and historic, showing audiences a side of Red rarely seen before. In 1982, he collaborated with French meme legend Marcel Marceau in a silent comedy duel that highlighted his mastery of pantomime. Around this time, Red also revealed that he had served in World War II, performing for soldiers across Europe for 18 months. In 1983, he performed for Queen Elizabeth II at Royal Albert Hall on his 70th birthday, a milestone that honored both his life and his father's memory. Red's later years were marked by rediscovery and recognition. He received the Governor's Award, SAG Honors, and an honorary degree from Ball State University. Lost episodes and kinescopes of his shows resurfaced in the 1980s and 1990s, and restorations in 2024 revealed personal confessions he had never intended to share. Red spent his final years painting, giving generously to charity, and quietly shaping his legacy. On September 17, 1997, he passed away, leaving behind a life defined by laughter, struggle, and profound humanity. After years of performing, Red Skelton found a new way to express himself through painting. What began as a way to cope with grief, especially after the deaths of his loved ones, quickly became a central part of his life. Painting gave him a private space to process emotions, experiment with creativity, and continue connecting with audiences in a different form. Over the years, Red produced more than 50,000 works, many of which captured the characters he had created on stage and screen, like Freddie the Freeloader, as well as new subjects inspired by life around him. His paintings were not just personal, they became highly valued by collectors. Some works sold for as much as $1 million, proving that his artistic talent extended far beyond comedy. To honor his life's work, the Red Skelton Museum was established, showcasing both his paintings and memorabilia from his career in entertainment. The museum serves as a cultural and philanthropic landmark, ensuring that Red's creativity continues to inspire future generations. His art preserved the humor, heart, and humanity that defined his life, leaving a legacy that lives on long after the laughter faded. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story like this.